Edward Leos. Welcome to Travel Talk, filmed at the Peachtree Rose Marketing Studios and hosted by the hotel guide publisher, Edward Leos.
Good morning, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host of Travel Talk. Really excited about today's episode. I've got a very good friend of mine. I've known her for years, Dr. Carla Russo. How are you doing, Carla?
I am so great. Life is good, and I'm excited to see you and be on your show here today.
Now, I'm excited to have you. We're going to talk a little bit about wellness, a little bit about travel, and maybe some tips for some of our travelers as well. But like I like to do with all my guests, I'd like to kind of let them know who's on the show with us. So give me a little bit of background on who you are, how you got to where you are now. I know you're doing Zen Wellness Academy, but you do a myriad of things.
Yes.
But I'd love to let our guests know a little bit more about yourself.
So, historically, I'm just a girl who's really had a very colorful life. But in truth, professionally, so I am a doctor of integrative and functional wellness. So I hold a PhD and an ND board certified. And my focus is really working with physicians and chiropractors and professional athletes and anyone really who are high performing and really want to maximize and optimize their health in every way. And my focus has always been nutrition and proper supplementation, because my goal is to help people get healthy, but really also stay off medication or try to reduce the number of prescriptions they're on by replacing it with supplements and food that actually makes a difference.
That's really, and I think that's how we connected. Wellness is such an important aspect for both of us. But wellness travel is one of the biggest growth markets, if you will. Obviously, post-pandemic, you're seeing wellness and experiences being like at the top of a lot of people's list. It's not just about traveling anymore, but it's like, what can you do to make yourself feel better mentally, but also physically? Can you touch a little bit on those and what your thoughts are on like how wellness is really just growing big time when it comes to not only travel, but just life in general?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you alluded to, when the world changed back in 2020, it really brought to the forefront that those with the strongest immune systems, those with the healthiest bodies, really persevered the best. If they got sick to any extent, they bounced back very well, as opposed to those that unfortunately succumbed to various viruses and diseases because of comorbidity factors. And it's those comorbidity factors that get you every time. And those being obesity, of course, and having hypertension, high cholesterol, but those are all things that you can correct with nutrition and diet. And so it really brought that to the forefront. And I think we started to see a shift in people wanting to fortify their immune systems by taking the right supplements, not just a one size fits all type of thing, but supplements that are actually what they need as an individual and not just general mass market. And so with that, I think then too, people wanting to get outside, being cocooned, started to really realize the value that you don't have to get out there and go crazy, gung ho, and break a sweat. Just moving, walking, doing yoga or Tai Chi in the park is not only good physically by moving your joints, but mentally. And so, yeah, I think that all kind of culminated into bringing health and wellness to a whole new platform, really. And then I think that as it relates to travel, once we were able to get back into normal life, if you will, it was how do we really plan ahead? If we know we're traveling, we're going to be on a plane, what healthy snacks and things like that can we have with us in our carry-on so that we don't have to succumb to the garbage that's being served on airlines, even first class, doesn't matter. Just what can you do to keep it healthy? Because, ironically, this month is Heart Month. And there's a huge campaign on the American Heart Association about curtailing and really improving and optimizing your heart health. And what people don't realize is that every 33 seconds, just in the minute that I've spoken to you, every 33 seconds, someone dies from cardiovascular disease. So already lives were lost just in this short exchange. And the sad thing is that 80% of them didn't have to die. And let that sink in. 80% of heart attack deaths, cardiovascular deaths, don't have to happen. And it's just a change. So certainly if you can implement this when you're doing daily life, but then when you're out and traveling, no excuses, it's a game changer.
Yeah, I know that we've talked before, and a lot of stuff, two big things that always stick out to me with travel. One is proper sleep. and the other one is proper hydration,
Yes,
particularly when you're
as
on.
I sit here with
Yeah,
water.
particularly when you're on, you're on flights and you're going, especially if you're going, international flights and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about the importance of hydration and also the importance of sleep for travelers. Well, just in people in general, but
Yeah.
travelers, how it's amplified.
Well, sleep is the number one thing that's going to absolutely determine not just your overall well-being physically, but
Hmm.
mentally. We need rest and we need proper rest.
Yeah.
And so hydration plays a big part in having proper rest, because when you are sleeping, that is when your body's regenerating and recuperating, and it needs water. It needs that hydration to help flush your system, to help detoxify your system naturally. And it's also fantastic for anti-aging because it helps plump the skin and keep you moist and just looking better and more radiant. So everywhere I go, I always have water with me. I try to buy really clean. I tend to be more alkaline waters just for myself. But when I'm traveling, you can't carry that water through security.
Yes.
So I carry my Stanley tumbler, and
Mhm.
I found that if you find a color or a design or something you like, that you can make it part of, just as we grab our keys and our cell phone, we grab the tumbler because it's something we like and we need.
Correct.
I carry my tumbler through when I'm traveling, and then when I'm on the other side, I go looking for the types of water that I want. I fill that so that I'm not drinking on the plane, because the water on the plane's awful. And I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Preparedness is the key to the kingdom. And
Yeah.
so when I do that, I also make sure that I've got an apple, a banana in my bag, maybe some healthy unsalted nuts, and I prevail and I make it through my flight, and I just keep the water going. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest keys. I love the fact that you gave us three big tips. One was move, get out there, move, enjoy the sun. Doesn't matter what it is. A lot of
Right.
people think, oh my God, I got to go out there and be out there for an hour and sweating this and that. Well, sure, if you can do that, cool. But it's just about moving. Something is better than nothing. I love number two was the proper hydration, particularly when it comes to traveling. I love, I love the flying, but I am 100% in agreement with you when it comes to water on the plane. That's not good. It's not good. So even thinking of it, it's just like, nah, not a fun thing.
No, and the ice on a plane, if I actually told you what's in it, you'd be
Oh,
mortified.
yeah, I know that part too. So it's
Yeah.
one of the crazy things. And then sleep. I love how sleep is just it's the most underrated thing for a lot of people. They think they just need to go, 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 and be, but the body just has to recover. And if it doesn't recover, then you're pretty much useless. And that's one of the biggest challenges that are out there right now. So I love those three takeaways
Yeah.
with regards to some tips.
Yeah.
Um, let's switch a little to the personal side because I always love to ask my guests about some of their travel experiences. What have been some of your favorite travel destinations that you've been to? And then we're going to talk a little bit about your bucket list items.
Absolutely. Well, I love to travel, and I've been blessed to travel quite a bit. I've traveled pretty much all the way around the world. And I say that to really drive home this point, that one of my favorite places, because it's so unique and there's really nowhere else in the world that's like it, is Alaska.
Wow.
And people wouldn't expect me to say that. You're waiting for me to say Paris or London or
Yeah.
Dubai no, and those are all fabulous. And Dubai is definitely unlike anywhere else in the world. So that's a definite. I have not been yet, but that is on my bucket list. I plan to go next year, and we're working
Perfect.
on that trip right now. But thus far, I love Alaska because it's comfortable and you can just be. I love being able to be in flannels and boots and comfortable and getting to see nature in a
Yeah.
way that you only see on National Geographic, whether it's the icebergs or it's the nature and the bears and the mountains. I absolutely love it. So I love cruising to Alaska. That's probably one of my favorite things. If it's a destination where I'm hopping on a plane and flying somewhere, I'm very partial to Italy, and I've been all over Europe, but I love Italy, and not Rome, because Rome is very crowded and congested.
Yes. I've heard.
I like the outskirts. I like the Amalfi Coast, or much further northern. Love Tuscany. There's a little village there called Anghiari, and it is amazing. It looks like something out of the history books, a true Tuscan village where lunch goes for a good 3.5, 4 hours, and then it's siesta time, and it's just a whole other experience. And the people are so wonderful.
Oh yeah.
So I would say Italy. If it's on a plane going somewhere, it's probably Italy.
Those are two great places, Alaska and Italy. I haven't had anybody say Alaska yet, so I think you're the first one. So that's
Yeah.
always a cool thing there. Bucket list. You mentioned Dubai.
Yes.
Anything else on your bucket list for travel places?
Gosh, yeah, so next in 2026, my husband and I, Joey and I, we're working on putting the trips together right now. We're going to fly into London and then head over to Dubai. I love London very much so. And so spend a few days in London and then head over to Dubai. The other thing would be to go down under, and we're going to
Yeah.
go to Australia and New Zealand. And so excited about that, and throw a shrimp on the Barbie and see
Oh
what
yeah.
that's all about. So yeah, those would be my next. That's what's on the list for 2026.
Those are on the immediate bucket list. So that's great. So I love the fact that you're engaged in travel. I knew that about you already, that you love to travel, you and Joey. And I love your commitment to wellness and health. Any last thoughts for travelers with regards to how to manage or just have a better wellness feel on anything that they're traveling with?
Sure. And this applies to life in general as well as when you're traveling. So, number one, you know me well, so I'm no excuses, right? There's always something you can do to better yourself. And I say to people, with very little effort, you can go from being a zero to a hero for yourself
Mm-hmm.
very easily. I mean, even if you are confined to a chair, you can still move some part of your body and still kind of get that blood pumping and flowing and using those joints. And so I would say that with travel, two things with the no excuses. Just because you're on vacation doesn't mean that you suddenly become a trash dumpster and you get to eat
Yeah.
everything in the buffet line if you're on a cruise or whatever the case may be. Yes, you want to experience the foods and things that are around you in that environment, but it's all about moderation. So people go on excess mode and they go from being their own hero to a zero because they come off the cruise, they've gained weight or they've done whatever and they just overate. You don't need to do that. You can enjoy anything and everything, but in moderation when you're on a vacation, and not toss your wellness out the window, because it's a lot harder to undo that damage
Mhm.
than to just stay healthy and indulge a little bit.
Yeah.
And while you're indulging, also recognize that you are indulging and you are on vacation. So maybe you're not someone who wants to go to the gym, but you're on vacation. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
Walk around the ship, walk around the island, walk around the city, but try to marry your indulgence in moderation with physical activity.
No, I think
Absolutely.
those are great points right there, and I think a lot of people, it's the choice of taking the elevator versus stairs, simple choices like that, and anywhere you are, and so you talked about Italy, walking community, or walk anywhere else, and so I think those little steps and little ideas are always important. So, I thank you for your time today, Carla. What's the best way for our guests to connect with you or find you online?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm on social media, so everything's at Dr. Carla Russo. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever the case may be, or my website, they can always reach out and contact me through there if they have any questions. And that would be drcarlarusso.com. And really, more than anything, I think they should reach out to you, because what you're doing is fantastic, Edward. And I think you're a tremendous resource for referral. So as people have needs, whether it's travel or they have questions about who do you recommend for health and wellness, or what would you
Yeah.
propose people do in XY situations, I know how well connected you are, not just in the San Antonio area, but just across the world. And
Yeah.
so, but be it through you or direct to me, that's how they would reach me.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you taking the time as always, Carla.
Absolutely.
It's been a little journey to get us here, but I'm happy that we got it done. And I think our guests have got a tremendous amount of insight from you. The little things to do are also the easy things not to do. But if we can remember those things moving forward, everybody has some choices. We can still live an amazing life with balance. So I want to thank you for being on the call today. For all of our listeners out there, please continue to watch us at thehotelguide.com. Follow us, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, travel and make memories. Take care.